situation where the United States is trying to take advantage of the Africans. It's just a matter of time before everything boils over. So it behooves the United States to treat Africa fairly. For a change, let's have a country that can trade with Africans in a fair manner. All I'm asking is for Africans, don't be stupid anymore. Do not come to the United States looking like beggars. You have a lot that the United States wants. You have a lot that the world wants. Stand up tall. Have the to stand up like any other man on earth and defend us. As Africans, we are counting on you. We are sick and tired of giving up our natural resources for peanuts. So yes, African leaders, do not come to the United States as beggars. Come to the United States as equals to negotiate with President Trump. Do not take any rubbish that he throws at you. Do not allow him to bully you, because he has what you need and you also have what he has what you want. So Africans, wise up. Come to the United States prepared, because President Trump will trump you. President Trump will kick your rear end if you're not prepared. We saw what happened with President Ramaphosa. If African leaders are going to come to the United States like President Ramaphosa did, where he clearly looked like a beggar, wherein lies the problem. President Trump is a deal maker. If you look at the manner in which he treated President Ramaphosa and his team, President Ramaphosa and his team clearly were not prepared. They should have known they're coming to negotiate. They should have had their game plan together. And so I would blame President Ramaphosa for coming to the United States unprepared. May the best man win. That's what this moment is calling for. President Trump, of course, is going to want to negotiate the best deal for his country, but these African leaders must come also prepared. My position would be African leaders should come and meet with President Trump, hear what he has to say, go back and re-strategize, come up with your game plan, and then give feedback. If you are not prepared, you need to make sure that this moment is calling for free trade as nations in an equitable and fair manner. Now, if you end up with the short end of the stick as an African leader, the joke is on you. There are lots of intelligent, brilliant Africans who can come in and negotiate with the Americans. President Trump and his team are going to kick your rear end. They don't play. And the African leaders need to know that. So they need to realize when they come to negotiate with President Trump, they're entering a battlefield that says you need to bring your bunker buster of knowledge as you begin to negotiate with the United States. They're not playing, and they need to know the stakes are very high, but also stakes that are going to take Africa where Africa can actually truly beneficiate and benefit from their natural resources in a manner that is not parasitic, like the relationship African countries have had with Europe. So the United States is saying no more parasitic relationships, but may the best men win. Africans are supposed to come to the United States with their best negotiators, and they need to leave the best deal that can be had on behalf of their people. The people who chose them to lead, the people who are expecting them to do what they must do in order to utilize their natural resources for the benefit of their people, and not the relationship African countries have had with Europe. When President Trump showed the photographs of crosses along the highway, that was a no-brainer. Instead of President Ramaphosa saying, well, I've never seen that, I would have to look into that, he should have said, categorically, that is not my country. We do not put grave sites along highways. If there were that many white people that had been murdered by black people, I would know. And I can tell you categorically that those photos are not coming from my country. When he was shown photographs of people in body bags, one of his people could have equally looked at that picture and asked AI. In a matter of seconds, you would have found out that those photographs were coming from the DRC. But instead, once again, he should have said, categorically, that is not happening in my country. If there were that many white people being killed by black people in my country, I would know. But instead, again, he was, well, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into it. Let me tell you, he was defeated right from the beginning. He was not prepared. He did not have his game together. And then when he asked the foreign minister, the minister of agriculture, who is a white man and who is over the land reform in South Africa, he expected the white man to cover him and say categorically, I am a white man. I am the Minister of Agriculture, and we are carrying out the land reform. There is no white genocide in South Africa. But what did the minister say? Well, Mr. President, you are right. We have a problem. What on earth were they thinking? And then at the end of it all, they're busy talking about golf. I think these guys who came to with President Ramaphosa, they came just to shake hands with President Trump and then talk about golf. They were not serious about the discussions at hand. So yes, I have to say, I blame President Ramaphosa. He did not take a position of a leader. He should have categorically said, there is no white genocide in my country. And those photographs, Mr. President, they are false. That is not happening in my country. But instead, he looked like a puppy dog that had been beaten up and really could not answer. He looked like a leader who really didn't know that those horrible things could be happening in your country and you do not know. African leaders need to know that President Trump and his team are not playing. It is a battlefield when you go to the White House. You need to go to that battlefield with your boxing gloves of knowledge, with your bazookas of knowledge, with your bunker busters of knowledge. No playing games because you got 1.4 billion people counting on you. It's a game changer. When we look at the global policies that President Trump is introducing to the world, when he got rid of USAID, technically he was basically weakening the CIA, the agents through which regime changes have been carried out.
Guys, Donald Trump never cared for African countries. He never showed any remorse to the people of Africa. Instead, he even disrespected Africans by calling them names. And this man, he will never gonna care, not even a little bit, about Africa continent. So, he never want to be in a good relationship with Africa. Why should African countries or African leaders have to go and force this kind of relationship? When someone does not want you, the only thing you can do, which is good for you, is to also walk away. Go and find someone better. So do Africans even need to keep the relationship between Africa continent and the USA? I don't think so. Do you know why?
Really shouldn't care about a relationship either. If the relationship can be worked out, that's wonderful. But if President Trump is saying, I have a mandate from my own people to take care of my people, and I'm doing what I need to do to take care of my people, African leaders need to take that same position. You see, it takes two to tango. If President Trump does not want a relationship with Africa, Africans shouldn't be begging for it. Are you with me? I'm hoping that this will translate into African leaders looking from within, because they don't really need to keep looking outside. They have what it takes. It's a wake-up call, just like what happened during COVID. It was a wake-up call for African leaders to realize that you must begin to look within Africa to take care of yourself. When the chips were down, the world walked away from Africa during COVID. So that's a reality. No supplies were coming to Africa. Africans were not manufacturing anything, and African leaders were forced to look from within. This, I'm hoping, is another wake-up call where African leaders also begin to realize we must look from within. But let me underscore this. The average African leader and majority of leaders of developing world, I can tell you, they are celebrating the exit of USAID, and we hope that there will be exits of many other NGOs that are carrying out nefarious activities in Africa and anywhere else in the developing world in order to further the agendas of their governments, which is to continuously destabilize, divide, and conquer.
This is a wake-up call for Africa continent. This should be a wake-up call for Africans all over around the world. But on the other side, we're having China, we're having Russia. These countries, should we consider them as the rightful partners that Africa needs right now? Well, I think that is the question. I'm leaving it to you. Feel free to drop your comment in the comment section and tell us what do you think about it. But as for Madam Arikana, she said this.
My position is Africans must take a position and protect their turf. China wants to come and exploit Africa. They'll get away with it to the extent that Africans allow them. The United States wants to come and exploit Africa. They'll get away with it to the extent that the Africans will allow them. The question is, does Africa have an African position when they come to the negotiating table with the world? The answer right now is no. Africa must unite. Africa must speak with one voice, and Africa must go to the world stage with one voice, one agenda, one plan that the world will have to respond. But as long as Africa is going to the world as bitty little countries, as Togo, as Eswatini, as Guinea-Bissau, Africa is fighting a losing game. Africa must unite, and Africa must speak with one voice. That is the only way a strong, united Africa can take a rightful place on the world stage and be respected and stop the exploitation.
Now you understand the reason why we keep on preaching for the unity of Africa continent. When we speak here day and night calling for African to be united, some think that we are stupid. Some even call us names. Some can even say that, no, we don't know what we're talking about. Because maybe they believe they are so special and unique from the other African countries. But forgetting that us fighting this battle as a separate countries within Africa continent, which is our motherland, it is like fighting a loser war, which you know very well that you are not going to come out as the winner. We've been fighting a losing war against the Western for so many years. Why? Because we are going to this war all divided. And when these people come, they attack one of the African countries. The other African countries, they just keep quiet and they're not getting even to interfere in those affairs, forgetting that tomorrow they'll be the next on the list of these two Western countries. These people knew very well that in order for us to continue controlling Africans, in order for us to continue stealing from African minerals, in order for us to continue dominating our policy on Africans, it is by dividing them. That is when they came and imposed borders on Africans.
One African passport. People say, Malema says, Borderless Africa, he wants people without documents. How can he want people without documents when he's got documents himself? The division of our continent benefit the imperialist forces. Let's continue to advocate for the unity of Africans and for academic excellence.
They came with all these borders because they knew exactly what they were doing. And when they were sitting somewhere in Berlin in 1840, dividing Africa like a piece of cake on someone's birthday, Africans, they were not there. Africans, they were not seated on that table. They did all this on their own. Why? Because they knew that 100 years or 2,000 years to come, these borders that we have imposed on Africans, it will help us to continue controlling them from far. How can you win this battle when we still have countries within another country such as Lesotho, Swaziland, Togo, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda? All these small countries, when we're supposed just to be one nation. If you look the map very well, what makes the United Nations to be very strong? It is also because they remain united. So why Africa can't do the same? Guys, for me, I think this is a wake-up call for Africans.
President Trump is saying, I have a mandate, America first. So you Africans, are you going to sit back and just wait and see the next move that President Trump is going to make? Or you're going to also say, I have a mandate from my people, and I'm going to do what I need to do. Take inventory of what you have in your country. Use it and use it wisely. No more begging. You don't need to have anybody filling the gaps in your educational system. You don't need anybody filling the gaps in your healthcare system. You don't need anybody creating initiatives in the most remote parts of your country because they claim that you, the government, cannot have access to that? How can somebody come from all the way from the United States, all the way from Britain, and access the most remote part of your country that you in your country cannot access? It is the most stupid thing. When you listen to the justifications and the explanations as to why they are there, it's a joke. And this needs to stop.
Africans should know that we are on our own. We can't count on anyone else out there. Everyone, they have shown their intentions toward Africans. There's no any other organizations out there who can come and defend Africans. Because those organizations which has been there, they have shown their true face that they are not at the service of people of Africa, but they are at the service of those who have put it in place. So it be the UN, EU, AU, G7, G20, all these world organizations, trust me, they will never gonna come to the rescue of people of Africa if Africans don't stand on their own feet and try to challenge these people with everything in their power. These all institutions, they are not there to help people of Africa. Do you know why? Because they were created for another reason.
Colonialists want to exploit our minerals without being held accountable. It is the colonialists who are corrupting the leadership of Africa and making sure that those who are not corrupt are replaced by the corrupt puppets who will allow colonialism to continue in the African continent. Any battle you can imagine anywhere in the continent, it has got everything else to do with those who colonized us before.
So what is my take in all this? Well, guys, again, I'll insist that this should be a wake-up call for Africa. This should be a very strong message to each and every African leaders out there that it is about time we start having another different way of seeing things, another different way of dealing with this Western and the US politics. Why? Because these people, they have shown their real intentions toward people of Africa. For all these years that this USAID, it's been taking place in Africa continent, there is nothing good which has happened. Therefore, now that they decided to pull out, Africans should let go of it. They should not beg them, and they should find a new way to deal with this Western. Donald Trump said America first. African leaders should also be able to say Africa first. This young President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso and the leader of Mali or Niger, these people who have dared the Western by chasing them away from their country, by stopping giving them their minerals, and take this mineral and use it or sell it for their own interest, which will benefit for people of their country. While we are being divided with different ambitions or opinions, trust me, these people will continue winning every time. But the moment we'll come together as one Africa, the moment we'll speak one language, the moment we'll come with one army, the moment we'll have leaders who will be loyal to Africa, who will say that Africa first before anything else, that moment, it will be the day everything will change around. We'll be able to gain that our dignity, which we have lost after all these years. Guys, we're looking forward to see also what is your opinion about this conversation that we just have with you. It was very important that we sit down and talk about our beautiful land, which is Africa continent. I really do appreciate your time. Please make sure that you like this video in your numbers so that this message can reach to many African leaders out there so that they can be able to apply whatsoever we are expecting of them to do for us. So stay tuned for more videos like this to come. If this is your first time to watch our videos, feel free to subscribe to the channel and join this big team of Pan-Africans all over around the world so that we can be able to be discussing this kind of matters time to time. I think that will be all for now. Continue to be yourself. Be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.